private chat saying he has to make a run.
Okay, Islam. Okay. Well, we actually live right now. Let me get our intro up here. Islam.
Ali, 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 Ali. Driving to be the message, and I think Allah for his blessings. Ali was the circle. 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I think Allah for his circle. 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I think Allah for his blessings. Ali was the circle. 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I think Allah for his blessings. Ali was the circle. 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for his blessings. Ali was the circle. 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for his blessings. Ali was the circle. 7.
All righty then. Islamism without the schism. On a rise upon the 7, within the circle of justice, mercy, love, and right. and give all praises to the great God, Allah, our Father God, Allah, and honors to his holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, El Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We give honors to our Moorish kin once again, here, there, and everywhere, and therefore honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. But let us call forth our beloved goddess and queen sister, Dendra Nia Curta Bay, as she come forth to open up the way. Islam, Islamism.
Islam, Islam, Islam. I am the National Assistant Grand Secretary of State, Dr. Dendra Nee Bay. But first, let me rise and give praises to our great God Allah. I give honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. I give honors to Act 1. I give honors to all my government officials, and I give honors to my National Assistant Grand Chief for this class this morning. Now, let us come forth with our ancient committee and adept American prayer. And as we come forth, we ask that you open up your hearts and your minds as we open up the way. Islam, Islam, Islam. Ya Allah abnu huru makunetaru. Ya Allah abhet huru. Ya Allah ma'at huru. Ya Allah hotep huru. Ya Allah haru. Ya Allah ma'at hirahuti. Ya Allah awajit Jehuti, Ya Allah Pa'im Saket Pa'im Haru, Ya Allah Ba Mahuti, Hejet Sepsis Ray Abtu Ali. Amen. Holy Issa, Ali Issa, Ali Issa. And that is to say in transliteration, O Allah, the Father of the universe, O Allah, the Father of love, O Allah, the Spirit of truth. O Allah, the Spirit of peace. O Allah, the Spirit of freedom. O Allah, the Spirit of justice. O Allah, you are my protector. O Allah, you are my guide. O Allah, you are my salvation by night and by day. O Allah, through your holy prophet. O Allah, Drew Ali. Amen. And now let us come forth before you with our divine constitution of Moorish America, salvation, our God, unity. Act 1. The Grand Sheik and the Chairman of Moorish America are empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of Moorish America. The Assistant Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the citizens of Moorish America. The bylaws. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday, the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all citizens of Moorish America. No citizen is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister because Allah is love. Act 4. All citizens must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all citizens must obey the laws of the government because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and a parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. No organization of Moorish America is to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all citizens must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folk, Black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained noble Jew Ali the prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All citizens must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a parcel of all uplifting acts of Moorish America. Moorish Americans must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of Moorish America, and then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, noble Jew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Now that this meeting has been opened according to the Circle 7, Act 2, the Circle 7, and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, we will now turn it over to our National Grand Secretary of State to read our chapter of the week. Islam, are you there, Goddess?
Closest I thought, Islam.
Gratitude.
Gratitude. Islam Moorish King, we want to first rise, giving all praises to our Father God Allah, giving honor to our Prophet, noble Drew Ali, the last prophet in these days and times, giving honor to our Egyptian Adeptus Research Sultanate class, to our family online, to our Scribes online, also to Act 1, and our host instructor, our National Assistant Grand Sheikh, Dr. Shedu Amenti El Mohedjid Shepsuel. Also giving honor to our National Assistant Grand Secretary of State, Dr. Dendra Kurtabe, for opening our meeting according to law. Chapter 17, Life and Works of Yehoshua in Egypt among the Gentiles. Yehoshua with Elihu and Salome in Egypt tells the story of his journeys. Elihu and Salome praise Allah. Yehoshua goes to the temple in Heliopolis and is received as a pupil. And Yehoshua came to Egypt land, and all was well. He tarried not upon the coast. He went at once to Zon, home of Elihu and Salome, who 25 years before had taught his mother in their sacred school. And there was joy when met these three. When last the son of Mary saw these sacred groves, he was a babe. And now a man grown strong by buffeting of every kind, a teacher who had stirred the multitudes in many lands. And Yehoshua told the aged teachers all about his life, about his journeying in foreign lands, about the meetings with the masters, and his kind receptions by the multitudes. Elihu and Salome heard his story with delight. They lifted up their eyes to heaven and said, Our Father God Allah, let now thy servants go in peace, for we have seen the glory of Allah. And we have talked with him, the messenger of love and of the covenant of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Through him shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. Through him, Emmanuel. And Yehoshua stayed in Zoan many days, and then went forth into the city of the sun that men called Heliopolis, and sought admission to the temple of the sacred brotherhood. The council of the brotherhood convened, and Yehoshua stood before the Hierophant. He answered all questions that were asked with clearness and with power. The Hierophant exclaimed, Rabboni of the rabbinate, why come you here? Your wisdom is the wisdom of the gods. Why seek for wisdom in the halls of men? And Yehoshua said, In every way of life I would walk. In every hall of learning I would sit. The heights that any man has gained, these I would gain. What any man has suffered, I would meet, that I may know the griefs, the disappointments, and the sore temptations of my brother man, that I may know just how to succor those in need. I pray you, brothers, let me go into your dismal crypts, and I would pass the hardest of your tests. The master said, Take then the vow of secret brotherhood. And Yehoshua took the vow of secret brotherhood. Again the master spoke, he said, The highest heights are gained by those who reach the greatest steps, and you shall reach the greatest steps. The guide then led the way, and in the fountain Yehoshua bathed. And when he had been clothed in proper garb, he stood again before the Hierophant. Islam, Islam, Islam. And at this time, we want to turn the meeting back into the hands of our host instructor, Dr. Shadwa Menti El Mohamed Shepsuel, our National Assistant Grand Sheikh. Islam? Dr. Shahid, there you go.
Gratitude, Grand Secretary of the State. Pardon the technical difficulty.
Let us ride.
Gratitude with a divine attitude. Islam. But let us rise upon the seventh within the circle of justice, mercy, love, and right, and give all praises to the great God, our Father God Allah, and honors to his holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Al-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We give honors to our Moorish kin once again, here, there, and everywhere, and therefore honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. We give honors to our Grand National Seal. We give honors to our Grand National Emblem, National Flag, Divine Constitution and bylaws, and honors to all of you who are indeed a living manifestation and personification of everything. And I do mean everything our holy prophet brought to exhume us as a nation. I want to welcome you to another Egyptian Adeptus Research Sultanate session. I'm your host instructor, Dr. Shahid Imani Al-Mohadi Shabazz El, and my ancient committee in high name being the same as Dr. Shadwa Menti El Mohamed Shepsuel. And we got a grand draw at Moorish kin to bring forth to you. Very powerful measure. Again, we are dealing with the Arabiya, the language in which the Quran, the great Quran of Muhammad, was revealed. And the scribes on the manifest, and we got a little ground to cover, but it's going to be fulfilling. It's going to be a grand drawing for those who are here to learn, the Arabiya. And be sure, if you can, family, to go back over some of these measures that we have as well. If you haven't, and you can actually catch yourself up with our classes that we've been having, because we put them in order as well. You just go to my channel, Commission Adept Hierophant, and it will pull up everything it is that we have done in regards to dealing with the language. Whichever one it is that you seek to go into at the time, you can always go back to those videos and tap into the information to refresh yourself. Islam. So we have a powerful demonstration to bring on the manifest. Turn this off. Yeah, give me a second. I'm turning this apparatus off, Moorish kin, because we ain't gonna have it dinging all through this whole session. All right, come on. Now you don't want to go off, man. Well, you going off. All right, I got a trick for you. You want to bring that up there? Turn the phone off. Shut down. Let's see. Let me see here. Wait a minute. Come on. Power off.
To turn off your device, press the power and volume up buttons at the same time. Then
you don't want to follow instructions though. You want to tell me how to do it instead of doing it. We're gonna put a stop to this. No, I just push the button and it go off. What is going on with this? Give me 1 second here, Muslim. Okay. Now, I hope this thing don't power back on. I'm trying to power this thing off, and boy, I tell you, these apparatuses, something else. They just don't be as they used to be. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's off now. Islamism without the schism. Whew. You see, even the AI act like it know more than what it's supposed to know. Goodness gracious, you tell it to turn it off, it's gonna tell you how to turn the phone off. Islam. Okay. So yeah, Moorish Ken, we got a grand drawing that we're gonna bring on the manifest. And we're gonna be dealing with Surah Surat al-Fatiha. Now we ain't gonna have this. I'm trying to get this apparatus on point so it don't shut down on us. Goodness gracious, that when I tell you that little charge on this battery don't last long on this apparatus, this is terrible. I'm talking about literally, it was just fully charged a few minutes ago, and now it's already empty. Good gracious, all these little contraptions. I guess the internet line must be on fire too, like California or something. But okay, yeah, there we go for now anyway. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna be dealing with Surah al-Fatiha this morning. That's the drawing that we're gonna bring to the manifest, and we're gonna this is our international prayer too, by the way, to whom it may concern. Surah al-Fatiha is the universal prayer of all Muslims. That's why we call it the international prayer. Every Muslim, no matter what it is they say they believe, what school of thought they come through, Surah al-Fatiha is the drawing. Everybody agree on that. Everybody agree on that. It ain't strange that it's 7 ayats, or what we call 7 oft repeated verses. You know, we all agree upon the 7 too, don't we? Regardless of what our school of thought is, huh? Okay, so let me share my screen here. I got to jump through hoops to do that. Okay, let me see here. Turn my sound on, make sure we got that going. Okay. Let's see here. Share. All right. Can y'all see that screen, Moorish Ken?
Islam.
Okay. And my audio is pretty good, right, Sister Dendra?
Islam. Yes, we can hear you clear.
Islam. All right, Brother Bati Bey. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we going in here. Surat al-Fatiha. You know, and for those who don't know, and we touched on this last week, Surat al-Fatiha is actually, you know, it has a few attributes that it is referred to in name. And it is referred to as al-Kitab. Is the Arabic word for mother. You know, al, which is a definite article, and kitab is book. So al-Kitab is known as the mother of the book, the Quran. It is said that the Quran in totality is summed up in Surat al-Fatiha. It is also known as Allahi al-Mahfuz. It's referred to as the preserved tablet. You know, basically the preserved tablet is the book of creative fate that Allah had written prior to manifesting anything to creation as a book. So the preserved tablet is a book of predestination, so to speak, meaning that everything that is unfolding in life or will unfold is already written in the preserved tablet, so to speak. So this Quran is also a part of that preserved tablet. So yeah, it's a powerful demonstration. There are many other different drawings. It's referred to as our Furqan, the criterion, the book by which we are able to judge between truth and falsehood, strangely mixed as well. So these are some of the affiliations that are used to refer to the Quran. So praise be to Allah, Islamism without the schism. So we will be going into Surah al-Fatiha. And prior to entering any surah or any action in your life, we are told to come forth with the Bismillah. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, which is actually, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Or if you want to go a little further, you can also say A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And that is, I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. You can try that too when things getting out of hand, in your environment. When people getting crazy, they go to acting extra, so to speak. You can do the Bismillah, seek refuge in the great God. So going further into this particular measure, what I will do, I'm gonna play this surah, in the harmonic aspect of it, or the melodic aspect of it, so to speak, and then we'll go into, the breakdown of the surah, stage by stage, mashallah. So let's go.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
The Al-Fatiha, the 7 most oft repeated verses is what this is called, because every prayer, that one makes, so to speak, if they was going through the right ceremony and form of salat, they always begin with the Al-Fatiha, before they proceed with any other surahs, in their praying, so to speak. So the Al-Fatiha is pretty much repeated throughout the day, in the Islamic world, so to speak, when it comes to dealing with those aspects. So the first portion, of this line that we have here, let me expand this a little bit. Can y'all see that bold on the screen, Moorish Ken?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Gratitude, Grand National Secretary of State. And so what we have here in this first line is Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And the word Rahman and Rahim, they stem from the same root, but they are different. So Rahman, is one aspect, and Rahim is another aspect. That's why we say most gracious and most merciful. Rahman deal with what you gonna get as a result, of what you put out there anyway, without even asking. Rahim, refers to an overflow of blessings after, one does the work and put in the necessary work that requires a reward, so to speak. One is that Allah gonna bless you even if you ain't asking. Then the other is, like I say, after the work that you demonstrate, multiple blessings come between the two. That's why it's Rahman and Rahim. But Bismi, Ilahi, the word Bismi, we always emphasize the root of Asma. Asma, which is also translated in our dictionary of the Holy Quran, it is the root of Ism, ISM in Arabic as opposed to Ism in English. And we emphasize this all the time because Ism in English, when we say Islam, Ism, has a reference to the practice of being peaceful or being in a state of peace. Whereas Ism in the Arabic, refers to the reality of peace. So this is why you'll hear me say that, we in this new era in time under the supreme laws that we under, we adopt, the word in its original form. And it is also connected to the word Asma, which deal with the Al-Asma wa Sifa, the most beautiful names of Allah, the 99 attributes. So again, peace is one of those. As-salam, al-salam. This is one of the attributes of the great God Allah. So that word, when we say Islam, we're dealing with Allah's peace and not the peace of man, because man or woman's peace in most cases is based upon condition. But there are no conditions, other than peace being what it is. You see, you don't have to jump through hoops and act a certain way to receive peace from Allah. You automatically receive that peace when you yourself unfold into the reality of what peace truly is. And so this is the essence of that word Ism in the Arabic as opposed to Ism in the English. One is the practice, one is the reality of peace. So the first portion we have Bismi here again.
Bismi,
Allahi,
Allahi,
Ar-Rahman,
Ar-Rahmani,
Ar-Rahim.
Ar-Rahim.
Listen to it. You can hear, sometime you'll see this translated or transliterated more as instead of just the AL, you can actually see the letter R attached to the L, going into it. But sometimes they will say AR, instead of AL, like Al-Rahman, it will say Ar-Rahman. But we know universally the rule is that L is interchangeable with the letter R in most languages, from the Coptic to the Arabic, all over the place. We learn this dealing with the Kemetic language. So fret not if you ever see that, in your Al-Fatiha. In fact, if you were to open up Scribes, your great Quran, and look at it, you would actually see, the R there, Bismillahir Rahman Ar-Rahim. And that's in the first line, and that would actually be, well, you already know where to go to find your Fatiha. But it's good too if you wanted to go into actually, if you have a Quran, we know the Scribes do, but if you have a Quran, you can go over these things in the Arabic as well as go over them in the transliteration, because they have these things side by side in this grand Quran that we have, which is the Tajweed Quran, with meaning, translation in English, and so forth and so on. And then we also understand that in this information, once we go back between the two, it sharpens our perception, so to speak. They also have the Tajweed in marks, and they match up with this book, thanks to the brother, who produced this particular Quran that we have, that you can actually align them with the book. You see? And so when we go into it, we know where the elongation's at, so to speak, what we would call a long vowel. We can go into the Quran and we can see it. Like in this particular version here, they don't stretch the line out as long as they do in the other line, but in most cases you can hear, in the audio, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. You know what I mean? Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. And that really is your emphasis on the elongation. Ar-Rahman-Ar-Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim. Ghayril maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amen. And if I was doing a prayer or something, then I'd say Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hu huwallahu ahadallahu samad. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. Wa lam yakun lahu kufuwan ahad. You see what I'm saying? And so forth and so on. But yeah, so this is the first line. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. And we're going to go further into the elements of the surah, because we're breaking these things down line by line and telling you what they mean. Now, ask yourself the question, to those who have heard people that discriminate against Islam in the Quran: what's wrong with "in the name of Allah, the Beneficent and Merciful"? How is that harmful? Or they like to say Islam is a hate-filled religion. Well, until recently, we exposed that Yehoshua didn't mind slanging his iron as well, the sword. He told the people, he said, the one didn't want to believe in me, go get him and slay him. So does that make the Bible, a violent book because Yehoshua, the one that teaches love, made that statement? What about what he said, I didn't come to bring peace but a sword? If you had your purse, I don't know, men, well, you do got men toting pocketbooks in this era and time, but he said, sell it and buy your sword. That could have been a symbolic way of saying man up. But necessarily, in this measure, we just want to emphasize, the aspect of that Islamism is a way of peace and not destruction. And so we are for peace and not destruction. So people have to start reading instead of letting people tell them any old thing, and running with that narrative, and spreading, dung all over the place, so to speak. But anyway, this is the second line. You can also learn the Arabic numbers too. 1, 2, you can learn them as well. It wouldn't hurt. Now, all right, now we ain't gonna have you doing what you want to do and just rolling up the screen now. That's something we ain't tolerating over here. All right. So stay still. All right. There we go. This right here is Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. When I tell you, it's a lot of information packed in these particular words. Every last one of them. From the first few in the first ayat into this one. There are multiple layers of meanings when it comes to dealing with this particular surah. In every other surah, Alhamdu, we hear our chairman say it all, Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
الحمد لله
Rabbi
رب
Alameen.
العالمين.
We go. And this is a powerful demonstration as well. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Praise be to Allah, cherish and sustainer of the world. And again, we can't help but emphasize, we went over this in a previous class. We're talking about the ethos of every native plane. When we say cherish and sustain of the worlds, Al-Alameen, Al-Alameen, as they would say. But this is cherisher and sustainer of the worlds. What worlds? Plant, animal, mineral, beast. You see? We even get into the realm of dealing with protoplasm. Your body represents a world. And there are worlds within the body. Worlds in plural. There's the world of your lymphatic system. There's the world of your cellular aspect. There's the world, of the atoms, the atomical portions that make up the body. There's the world of the bones, so to speak. The world of the brain, the world of your central nervous system in general. All of these things function in a holistic way, but yet they are individual in their way as well. And so we're talking about, again, the Lord of the world, the unity of verses, the multi-verses, so to speak. So all praise be to Allah, Lord of all the worlds, cherisher and sustainer. That's a whole nother measure. Not only does the great God Allah cherish, but he sustains the worlds. We just got to get in alignment. And that's the key. Once we find ourselves in alignment with the great God Allah and divinity, everything else will unfold accordingly as he has willed. When we link our will up with the deific will. Again, we call that conforming to the will of Allah. Nothing wrong with submitting to the will. Submission means you're going to submit whether he say whatever he say, yea or nay. But when it come down to it, at the end of the day, everything in creation is in submission. Man seems to be the only one that has a problem conforming to the will of the great God Allah. And so we have here the repeating. Again, he's letting you know, Rahman and Rahim again. Rahmani, Rahim.
الرحمن الرحيم.
Rahim, most gracious, most merciful. One more time. It's letting you know. Most gracious and most merciful what? Master of the day of judgment. Maliki Yawmadin.
مالك يوم الدين.
And notice this is talking about the day of judgment. Yawmadin, Maliki, the great God Allah is the master of the day of judgment. And really, every day we wake up, is a day of judgment. Here it is actually speaking of, the actual day of judgment. When man was stand before his Rabb, when he was stand before Rabbil Alameen, Lord of all the worlds, naked, stripped of any rank or anything of attainment that we have. And this is the soul You know, the plane of soul, where the great God Allah will demonstrate this grand examination. You know, and this is where you will undergo, you know, a grander degree, a senior course, so to speak, as it relate to how you live. You know, and that's going to determine your placement, you know, in the plane of soul, so to speak, when we're dealing with the apparatus. So, yeah, the day of judgment. Yeah, there is a realm after this realm. And whatever state of mind we in when we transition, as far as our mind state will determine where we at, you know. This is إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. إِيَّاكَ.
إياك نعبد
وَإِيَّاكَ
وإياك
نَسْتَعِينُ.
نستعين.
Okay, so thee do we worship, and thine aid we seek. You know, in other words, we don't worship anything but the great God Allah, and we don't seek aid from anyone but the great God Allah. You see, when we ask for help and aid and assistance from our brothers and sisters, we're actually asking for help from the great God Allah. And if it is within the realm of bounty, then it will be granted. Sometime, maybe not at that time, but even at a later time period. Think about it. You know, if, like I say, the purest aspect of Tawheed, which we went over that recently, you know, when we dealt with the Suratul Ikhlas, Hu Allah, Ahad, Allah, Samad, He is Allah, the one and only. You know, He begetted not, nor is He begotten, and there is none comparable unto Him. So, what we learn is that all praise is due to Allah. Thee do we worship, thine aid do we seek. You see? And so in asking that, we say, show us the straight way. And this thing run parallel with our Moorish American prayer. You know, this prayer here, you see? Ihdina Sirat al-Mustaqim. Ihdinas.
اهدنا الصراط
Mustaqim.
المستقيم.
Here we go. You know, the straight path, the Sirat. You see, al-Mustaqim. The straight path. Show us the straight way. Now, after asking for the guidance, you know, and seeking guidance, we say, show us the straight way. And we know in most cases that when we find ourselves in a state, a dark night of the soul, so to speak, where we need some divinity, some divine light to be guided out of that particular state or situation, you know, and so we can only have that guidance coming from the great God Allah. In fact, it is stated, you know, there's a popular idiom that is demonstrated in the teachings of Islam, or the world of the Orthodox world of Islam, where it is stated, whomsoever Allah guides, none can misguide. But whomsoever Allah allows to wander upon the path of misguidance, none can guide. You see, so all guidance comes from the great God Allah, the grace of guidance. So if you see someone and they have veils, you know, that are covering their eyes and they can't see the truth, they can't embrace the truth, they can't accept the truth, you know, the great God Allah is the only entity that can grant one consciousness. We was talking the other day about even recognizing that the great God Allah can take your ability, you know, of your faculties away from you. You know, if you blind, you can't see, then, you know, ain't no guidance. And that's literal. Or if you go into the physical aspect of, the spiritual aspect of it. You see, if you don't have your faculties of hearing, you know, even though you can hear, but you can't hear divinity when it comes to you, you know, that is a sad state. You can't receive guidance if you don't have divine ears and divine eyes. That's why it states in one of the Hadithi Qudsi, and we say this because this Hadithi Qudsi, this holy Hadith, corresponds with Quran. It said that, on the day of judgment, man's 5 limbs will bear witness against him. But in the Hadithi Qudsi that we find, that's actually recorded, it says that Allah will become your eyes in which you see, your ears in which you hear. You see? It even says that Allah will declare war. That's what it says in the beginning, upon one who shows hostility to a pious worshiper of his. So someone that is truly about the business of being about their Father's work, and they are truly about, uplifting fallen humanity, demonstrating being in line with the teachings of the great God, they become a wali of Allah, a friend of Allah. And that's one you don't want to mess with, because all type of karmic debt, end up at your front door when you're messing with one of the friends of Allah. And we don't know whom Allah has embraced as his friend. We are all friends of Allah, but there are those who are among the elect, due to their piety and what it is that they represent, how well they stand on the business of being about their Father's business. This is true. The more knowledgeable you are, represents a sign that the great God Allah has guided you. It's even said that, when the great God Allah has blessed some people in the world with physical wealth, some people he blessed with knowledge. You see? And most of the time, the one that has the knowledge ain't got a whole lot of wealth physically, but they have a lot of spiritual wealth. And the one that has a lot of the wealth physically, a lot of them don't have the wealth spiritually. You see? It's also stated, and this is another measure to grow on, a lot of time when we under a state where we feel like we need guidance and so forth and so on, after every difficulty come ease. Nothing happens to us, except it be the will of Allah. I had a pleasure yesterday at my auntie's 80th manifestation day, which our family came from all over the place. Most of us hadn't seen each other in 30 years. And I met one of my cousins, and he was a Muslim, Orthodox in his way, but immediately we sat down and we spoke for a few minutes. His name is Rashid. He's from Ohio, and he ain't been down here in a long time. I had never seen him and met him. And so we sat down and we started talking, and he was like, man, like, we got to stay in contact, cuz. And he was like, I don't mind, you being my sheikh, and we are just doing the work. But I imagine, because everybody was like, yeah, he studied Islam too. We want y'all to meet, and so forth. And we finally met. And I imagine before we met that we would have a good conversation. So it's an honorable drawing to be able to build with him. He's a good brother. But this is a powerful measure when it comes to dealing with the guidance of Allah. And a lot of times we may not understand. We may think that Allah is not present because we want him to move on what we consider real time. But Allah is real time. So he has already moved before you ask him to move. It's just the events of unfoldment. The way that they will unfold will be according to the way he would have them unfold, and not necessarily the way that we would have certain things unfold. This is Allah's way, not our way. So, here's the other. Sirat al-Adina and Amtalehim. Gairil Makadobi Alehim. Waladolin. Sirat.
عليهم
Oh, I hit the wrong one. Excuse me.
صراط الذين
Ladina.
أنعمت
Amta. There we go.
الضالين.
You see how long he pulled that out? Adolin. And that was actually the bottom part itself. Sorry about that. That should have been
عليهم
Ghairi. Ghai. That's that guy. You got to come from the gutter with that demonstration. Ghair.
غير
Okay. And then
المغضوب
Magdubi. Then this is the same word. See, you're going to find words that are the same. Like I say, the more you look at them, like Sarat is a constant word that's used here, and Alayhim.
عليهم
Wala
ولا
dolin. Wala dolin.
الضالين.
And that's just extra emphasis. So a lot of times, you just say wala dolin. You don't have to drag it, but it is when you are reciting it, you can elongate that particular drawing. And so that is where it states the way of those. When you ask him to guide you on the straight way, the way of those on whom thou hast bestowed thy grace. In other words, the prophets, the saints, the scholars. You asking Allah to guide you on the same path that he guided them on. The same path that he made them successful upon, you're asking him to bring you or grant you that same success as he did with the prophets. You see, and that's a powerful measure, because we have to start putting ourselves, within the context of the scripture, and look at these stories. Like if you go into the Piscean records, they have a lot of stories, and these stories are meant to be examples of inspiration, showing you that somebody else has went through what you went through, and these were divine men in most cases. So just as the great God Allah guided them in those dark hours, he'll guide you the same way. He has already elected to guide you if you will heed, the guidance. So yeah, this is pretty much the gist of Surat al-Fatiha, word for word, and if we were to go deeper into certain aspects, we become more insightful. So it's good to come into our Quran dictionary, and we can just type the word mercy, and we should be able to find what we're looking for. There are many different words. Let's see. Is it allowing me to do that? Sometimes it trips on us, unfortunately. Let's see here. Is it? Okay. Look like it don't want to let us go in there and get that. Let's see what happens if I do this thing. I'm going to try something. If I put it in. Nope, it's still not changing. So what I do then, we're going to have to go through this the manual way. We'll do this here. Just give me a second here. So we're going to do it like this. Usually be able to move it a little fast. Okay, here we go. And this is for our family. You know, you can always go here. You know what? Before I even go there, I'm going to do this here first. I'm going to start with this first, since it's actually before that particular portion. Come on. Okay. Come on. Okay. Okay, this is what I'm trying to get here right now. Instead of going there, we're going to go here. All right. Okay, we almost there. Did I pass it? I think I might have passed this. Just give me 1 second. I know good and well. Now, I didn't try to get you to jump way down there. You know what done have? What's just happened is that now it has popped up, you know, all of a sudden like it wants to respond to what I typed in there. But it's only giving me a limited aspect of it. That means this system is sluggish. So let me erase that out so it don't do that again. Because when I needed it to do that, it wouldn't do it. So I tell you, all these apparatuses, they definitely don't act like they're supposed to act all the time. Okay. Just give me a second here. Okay, so we're going to try to do this again. Okay. Okay, so that's 270. 272 is what I'm looking for. And I know it's not going to give it to me, so I got to actually manually pull this down to get to 272 in order to get there quicker. Okay, let's see. Okay, a little bit more. Okay, there we go. I don't want to look further beyond it to 300. Let's see. Okay, we close here. So I just slow scroll this right here to get there. So we want to get you to a root of a word, and we're dealing with the word. Come on. All right. Okay, 272. We almost there. 268. No, we ain't trying to stop sharing nothing. Okay, 272. Okay, there we go. This is what I was talking about earlier. And I can tell this is going to be a little bit. Let me move this out the way so it don't mess around and stop sharing. Okay, so this word that I was telling y'all about in the Bismillah, Sama. Remember I said within these words, there's a whole lot of wisdom. So this is the word Sama, from whence the word Ism, derived. Look what it means. It means to be high. Now that automatically made me think about Prophet Noble Drew Ali and the attribute of Allah al-Ali, because it means the same thing, to be raised. It's a lofty name. It's an attribute. The Samawat, which is also called the heavens. So this same word dealing with Ism, the root word Sama is dealing with Samawat. This is the word for heaven in Arabic. So let's say when we talk about peace as a reality, we're talking about, a heavenly state of peace. It said that when we have done our work, then Allah basically rewards us. Well done, faithful servant. Enjoy this peace. A lot of people don't know what they mean when they say rest in peace, really. It definitely ain't a worldly peace, the peace you understand. Ismun, which means mark of identification by which one is recognized. You see, European marked us with Negro, black, colored, Ethiopian. So they placed their own ismun upon us, marks of identification by which they chose to recognize us. Ismun. But it states it is a derivative of wasm, the plural asma, which are the beautiful names. Ism, and this is what I'm talking about right here. This is the ism that you hear me talking about adopting under the supreme laws, as opposed to ism as we noted, under the European concept of ism. So this is Arabic. Ism stands for a distinguishing mark of a thing, but in the view of the learned, it sometimes signifies its reality. That's why I was talking about the reality of peace earlier. It also means name, and it states attribute, name and attribute. So this is the attribute of peace. It says in the Holy Quran, the formula, notice it refers to this as a formula. A formula scientifically represents something that you can actually work with, to bring about a certain result. Bismillah. It is used in both senses. It refers to Allah, which is the personal name of the Almighty, and it refers to Al-Rahman, most gracious, and Al-Rahim, the ever merciful, which are his attributes. In the name Bismillah, all of these things are there. That's why, when you enter any undertaking, you say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, because you are calling on the great God Allah by means of all of his attributes, along with, his name. You see? According to some authorities, as Rakib, the word ism is a derivative of samu. Notice they're taking out of the vowels of this. They're taking the vowels out. And it states, and means to be high and raised. Now imagine a high, raised, and exalted state of peace. That ain't regular peace. That's great peace. But anyway, it says in the word Bismillah, the name Allah possess these characteristics. It says, as he is the very apex of beauty, love, and beneficence, and the most gracious, the ever merciful. Right? Then it says the word wasmiyun is also derived from ism, and it means first spring rain. We know the first spring rain, that's when everything begins to, the seeds, so to speak, that have went to sleep, they begin to cause, some fruition, so to speak. And they call the earth Adzun Musamawa Matum. It says, and when the first spring rain falls on it, because of its flowering, pleases the heart of the cultivators. This is actually an act of worship, where the seeds actually respond to the rain, or the rain giving up, its particular portion. All of these are acts of worship by creation, and praise is being given. This is a reciprocal help and mutual obligation degree within creation. Every living thing is bound by cords to every other living thing. Also, the word mismun is its derivative, and means beauty and looks. Wasama, again, to brand, to stamp, to mark, describe, depict, surpass, beauty, vie in beauty. There was a clothing line started in the past in the world of hip hop that was called Al-Wasam. You know, they used this particular word to come up with that, you know, and they was basically talking about their brand, Al-Wasam. You know, so they used to have it out there. I'm gonna show it to you too. Because all these things, educational purpose, people really don't be knowing, you know. Let's see. They don't make them clothing line no more, though, I don't think. They might, but they real quiet about it. Okay, sorry about that. It's actually. Oh yeah, they do. They do make it. I thought they didn't make it no more. But yeah. So you know, this is an Arabic word, so we know it most likely a Muslim, you know, who came up with this clothing line. See the store? Yeah, they actually still in business. But I remember them from a long time ago. But yeah, they used that word wasam, and they was actually referring to the brand. But anyway, again, we have to bear the impress of beauty, wasim, beautiful, wasam, the title of a book as well, wasama, which is beauty. That's why we say al-asama wasifa. You know, Arabs use wasam and its derivatives generally in a eulogistic sense, whether relating to worldly welfare or spiritual well-being. Sama, to vie in glory. Tasama, to claim relationship. Samawa, figure seen from afar, good repute, fame. So this is like reputation. Sam, which is high, lofty, sublime. Musaman, which is fixed. That means to be fixed. We talk about solving a fix and being fixated. Musaman, determined. Samiyan, namesake, compare. You know, so they go on and on. You see all these definitions. You know, look, Tusama, they name, called name, Samu, you name, Samaun, heaven, higher, highest, uppermost part of anything, Samaun. Yeah, we can call this the higher self. Samaun. You see? Heavens. Samawat. Remember. Ismun, name, attribute. Asma, name, Samiyan. You see? So you can see the root of the asma or the saman is still there, family. You know, it's there. Use the root with its above form has been used in the Holy Quran about 381 times. You know, so that's a powerful measure in and of itself. Before we go any further, you know, we're going to call on our scribes, you know, just to have an open discussion on what it is, you know, that we are presenting right now and what they think of this. Islam scribe, we're going to call on our scribes.
Islam. Islam. First, I'd like to rise and give our man the praise to Allah, honors to the Prophet, honors to our theocratic government, our royal council, our flag, seal, emblem, our divine constitution, our swift angels, mufti, our citizens alike, honors to all the Moors that are here in attendance and sound of voice, honors to our professor on this journey. And
hold on. Pardon self, Brother Batibe. I want to address a measure real quick. This right here. I ain't gonna go all the way into it, but we have one that asks us a question. Yeah, do we support Islamic extremists? And in my response to that, do you hear any Islamic extremism over here other than it being extreme in love? Extreme. We extreme in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, brother. Now, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice ain't never hurt nobody. You know, so if that is weaponized in your view, We can't help that, family. But I don't know what you're referring to outside of that. We don't teach anything but love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And we don't have enemies, and we don't make enemies. We ain't looking for no enemies. We ain't looking to go to war. We don't even deal with bombs and guns. So no, sir. Whatever it is that you thinking, this ain't that. And I'm gonna say that, and I'm gonna leave that alone. All right, brother Bati Bey.
Islam. This is the one that called in on the conference call.
Correct.
Right.
And headquarters. Yep. Harassment.
Yeah. Okay.
European.
Okay. So got it. It makes sense, because Grand Secretary of State, me and you know what's going on. We done talked about this a long time. So all is well.
Yeah, he was on the Iowa consulate page. And
what he's trying to do, he's trying to recruit, so to speak, and build something that he'll never be able to build. You know what I mean? Because we don't demonstrate like that. So keep trying if you will, buddy. But it ain't gonna work, because we teach peace and not destruction over here. And that's for the record. Let the record reflect that. Now run and tell that. All right. Go ahead, Bati Bey.
Islam. Islam. I lost my train of thought. Islam. Dealing with one thing is dealing with our international prayer and going into the harmonics. When you put one thing about this is that we get, when we're dealing with the prayers, we got to understand that one is everything is vibration. Everything is vibration. The words we say reverberate. The thoughts we think reverberate, and they also bring back. So you got to think of your thoughts and the words you say is like a boomerang. What you throw out is going to come back to you. And when you do the recitation of the Fatiha and you put the harmonics behind it, and everybody has their own version of the harmonics, and with that, you ultimately bring in a vibration to your body of healing. So if anybody knows anything about there's one thing I'm gonna go into this is there's 12 notes in the music spectrum, but when you're talking about the chakras, the lam, vam, ram, the lam, vam, ram, yam, ham, om, that's ultimately what you're doing and bringing about. So when you're singing, I don't want to say singing, but when you're harmonizing these words, it's making the bioactive particles in your body activate. It's activating that God essence within you, and it also helps with the raising of your kundalini into the mind. So you're uniting the physical with the matter, the divine with the matter at that point in time when you're doing the prayer. And that's one of the reasons why you see it's like a yogi meditation when you do the Fatiha, the international prayer. And learning the harmonics, of Islam, or learning the harmonics of whatever, even with the Moorish American prayer, learning the harmonics gives you added strength. That harmony gives you added strength because you're vibrating. Like I said, is whatever you throw out is going to come back. And you throwing out love's going to come back. You throwing out any other five foes, those are going to come back. You meditate on any of those things, it's going to come back. That's why you have to understand the concept of what, even in your prayer, the power of prayer. I've said it many times when I've been in situations that I didn't think that were in my best interest. I would recite the Moorish American prayer in English and in the Hikapta. Did I say Hikapta? Yes, I did. In the Mediterranean Kemet, in our language. And what the vibrations that it does, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter where you at, since you are the main in any situation. The vibrations that you give off with your prayer and having that connection with the oneness allows all oneness to be apart and come even in your defense. And that's just something that I was getting out of your message today. Islam, peace and love.
Yes, sir. Islam and peace and love. You see how that one word in the Bismillah pretty much, it's encapsulated in that, is everything that deal with, the whole message of what it is that we represent. Just being lofty and high in our thoughts, whereas we, again, we don't have no enemies or adversaries. So we ain't seeking to go to war with nobody. The war we fight is the war on going within. That's what's taught in Islam. The greatest jihad is fighting your lower self, fighting that demonic thought pattern, to go to and fro in the earth, seeking whom you may devour. See, that's the war that we wage in here. We going within, take out some of them inner demons that's in you, and stop worrying about people outside of you. That's the war we fight. Ain't got nothing to do with messing with nobody outside ourselves. And when the world begin to think like that, then they can heal, from this karmic debt that they done been dealing with. But as long as you thinking low as a whale's turd, but what you think you go? Let me stop. They done got me crunk up over here. Let me call on my other scribes. It's love, scribe. Come on up.
It's love. It's love. It's love.
I made my chairman come up out of me.
I know it, right? I hear him up in there. It's love. Dr. Shaheed, I tell you, this is a grand class. I am thoroughly enjoying everything. And when you brought out so many good points, and like I say, for me, this is just phenomenal for me, coming out of being my background being Christianity. And I loved it when you talked about how how this prayer this is a universal prayer, recognized all over the world by all Muslims, recognized by all of them. And what really stood out to me, I had been, I was familiar with the prayer and everything. And when it talked about, who is it? The Master, Lord of all the worlds. And in my mind, how sometimes you just think one way, and I'm just thinking basically the universes and all of this stuff. He's the Lord of all the worlds, out there. Still thinking I'm going inside, but still thinking outside. I'm thinking out, about the universes that's out there. But never really, it didn't hit me until we was going over this morning. You talking about the Lord, he's the Lord of all the worlds, and how you start talking about our inside of our body is worlds. Our this physical body has worlds on the inside. Like you say, our skeletal system, our circular system, our bone system, and yet Allah, he's over that. He is over there. Oh man, I got to just meditate on it, because now I see how we can walk in total healing, because oh man, this is so powerful. You got me all excited here, Dr. Shaheed. It's so powerful because I'm seeing it's bubbling up in me, and I'm seeing it clearer and clearer now in dealing with health, because my desire has always been, I want to go deeper into learning how to walk in total health, even though I might be struggling with some certain issues sometime. I know I know that I can walk in total healing. I just know that. And seeing this prayer, and like Dr. Bata Bay said, when you speak this, it has a vibration to it. Not only is it vibrating outside, but it's vibrating your body on the inside. And also when you talked about the peace, how you talked about the peace, and when you talked about peace, that took me back to our Piscean area where we used to say, I have the peace of the peace that passes all understanding, and that negates any natural peace that we might think we have. This is above anything you can imagine. Allah's peace. When you get that type of peace, oh man, you can't nothing move you. And like you said, that's what we practice here. Our 5 highest principles, which is love. Love is the first one. Love, truth, peace. Love, truth, peace. Love, truth, peace. Freedom and justice. Peace, y'all. We don't have no gripes against nobody. No, like he said, we ain't looking, we don't fight. Oh man, like you say, God, man. And the last but not least, when you talked about that judgment. Now, I hadn't thought about that either. I thought about that judgment, like different things that happen in our life each and every day. When you brought about that word judgment in this prayer, it was talking about when we stand before the great God Allah, naked before him, you can't hide. And he run down all the things that you done did in your entire life, standing before him, before that judgment. And we know what comes after that. So gratitude, God, man. Powerful class. I'm just enjoying all of it. Looking forward to going back, just listening to the playback, playing it over and over again. Islam, gratitude for letting me share. Peace and love.
Islam and gratitude for sharing. All I say is if you try to go against what the great God Allah done put out there, you're going to have some problems. You know what I mean? And ones may be able to swindle and hoodwink certain individuals. You was able to trick them out of their position, but you'll never get the Moorish American nationals because we know better. You see? And so we're going to do better. Ain't it good being love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, Muslims? What my granddad said here today. Islam.
Indeed it is. Indeed.
Yeah, you ain't got to worry about no fire being set. You know what I mean? Coming from divine creation, burning up the wealthy people's stuff.
You can't kill spirit, man. I don't care what you do.
Because you're thinking, stinking. Islam. Peace and love, man.
Peace and love. Islam Moorish Ken, having already risen, giving praise and honor where due. This has been such a beautiful and powerful class, Dr. Shahid, especially when focusing on the Al-Fatiha. And I love the way that you took us in depth, and also not only breaking down the individual words, but also, as Dr. Bati Bey put it so eloquently, in reference to the vibrational or the harmonics of it. And you had told us before in reference to once you get the Arabic down path, then your own harmonies will come to surface, because we make it our own. The word that you brought forth, the ism, and how many words vibrate off of that in reference to that particular root. And it's a whole world of difference in the English demonstration of ism dealing with the practice of a thing as opposed to the reality of the thing. And that was so beautifully put, to give greater clarity. And when Dr. Bati Bey was speaking about the harmonics as well, there's also an aspect in reference to healing, as he stated, just in reference to the vibrations of the music scale, which is also mentioned in the Book of Fire. The various notes carry their own vibration, which heals certain aspects within the different parts of the body, which goes back to what you were speaking about, the worlds, how you have worlds within, dealing with the microcosm and the macrocosm. So you can see the unity and the oneness just in this particular word that we're studying, and the entire Al-Fatiha. And I didn't realize, in gratitude for that when you embark upon reading an aspect out the Quran, that it's best to demonstrate from the Al-Fatiha first and then bring forth the other surahs. That's definitely a revelation into itself. So I just see the unity and the interconnectedness of all of Allah's creation. So gratitude for this particular blessing and this class in general, and to my scribes and family online. Peace and love.
And peace and love to you as well, Grand National Secretary of State, and the rest of the scribes. And it's a powerful measure being brought forth from our Father's treasures, at all times. Allah never sleeps. Allah never slumbers. Islam isn't without the schism. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go into the next portion of the Al-Fatiha. So let me present my screen real quick. Okay. Or the drawing board. Back to the drawing board. Let's see. Okay. There we go. We're gonna share the entire screen again. All right. Spread the love. All right. So yeah, we're gonna go here, and I actually have. Just give me a second here. We're dealing with another word. I went too far. That's what I did. So give me a second here, Moorish Ken. And that's another thing. When we demonstrate up here, Prophet Noble Drew Ali taught the Moors, think not with Arabia. So whatever you got desert Arabs doing that's outside of the pale of Islam, we are in opposition to anything that harms. We ain't against the people for being who they are, because they got a right to be Arab. They was born that. But we against the behaviors, that are outside of Islam, that are being demonstrated in the name of Islam. And one thing that we have to realize, I want to put this out there, is there are those who are claiming that they are Muslims that are not Muslims. There are those who are claiming that they are part of this way of life that are not. They actually hate Islam. And they put on the garb of Islam to destroy Islam as mercenaries from within. So they create all type of havoc, because they don't care nothing about Christianity. They don't care nothing about Islam. They don't care nothing about Judaism. They look at all three of them as their enemy. These particular agents and agent provocateurs, so to speak. And so they know how to create the problem and bring the solution. They go to doing all type of crazy stuff because they want the true believers to be targeted for their actions. That's all a part of the plan. When all the while they hate religion, period. So this is the mindset, of those who are in opposition to the people as a whole. And we don't support those ideologies. We don't support conflict and like we say, a bunch of going back and forth. We don't even like to go back and forth in an argument of words with people. Less knowing getting physical in confrontation, you know. And so that's the drawing. And hopefully the world will realize the more negativity that you put out there into the ethers, it's going to always come back to you. You can't hide behind your badge because you feel like man gave it to you, you know, and you can't hide behind your position as a public figure, you know, political figure, when you stand naked before the Most High. So everything you call yourself trying to curtail or prevent don't even matter at the end of the day, because all of us will taste our demise. That's one thing we all promise people. So what you fighting for? While you're here, enjoy your life and leave people alone. You see what I'm saying? Other than that, you ain't doing nothing that the Most High don't allow, you know. But when you messing with divinity, it's only a matter of time before the great God, you know, begin to put in work. And what you gonna do to him? You can't lock a law up. You can't go to war with a law. You can't take a law's territory. You know? Goodness gracious. You know, you can't call a law a terrorist. You know, you can't do that. You see? But you gonna deal with what you got to deal with when it comes to divinity. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I just know we living in a time, Moorish kin, that the universe is responding to your challenge. Those amongst the people who felt like they was above divine law, keep playing and watch how the universe keep coming. We ain't got to do nothing, and we ain't seeking to do. We actually praying for the world right now, because we don't want to see the world going through the turmoil that it's going through now. But unfortunately, when you're hard-headed, stiff-necked, and rebellious, that don't just go for the Moors. That go for anybody, even outside our Moorish paradigm. When you're hard-headed, stiff-necked, and rebellious, you know, well, wait till the universe speak. You know, so learn to love instead of hate people, because a lot of people moving on hate-filled ideologies. You know, they hate to see people being themselves. They believe that people should live, you know, under what they demonstrate. You see? Well, I'm going to say it like I said again. I ain't got no dog in the fight between Democrats or Republicans. I believe in theocracy. Rule under God. You see? That's what we believe over here. You know, so the rest of them, do what you do. If that's what floats your boat, float on, float on. Islam. But we're going to demonstrate love. Unconditional love. Love, power. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Islam, boys. So I want to go into the word Rahman and Rahim. Oh, we were just talking about it, wasn't we? To love, have tenderness. Do you have love and tenderness in you, people? To have mercy. Do you have any mercy in you? Do you have pity? Forgiveness. Have you forgave yourself for what you did? You ain't got to have no, if you got guilt in you, and don't make me put no color on that guilt. You know, but if you got guilt in you, then forgive yourself. You know, because ain't nobody asking you for no forgiveness. Forgive yourself, people. Show goodness, favor, have all that is required. It says for exercise and beneficence. Tahumuna, you shall be treated with love and mercy, etc. Rahmatun, love and mercy, etc. Arham, most loving. Rahmun, Rahimun. This is the word Rihmun. Womb, relationship. So there's a womb in relation to dealing with this special word. Ruhmun, love and mercy from the womb to the tomb. Rahimun, one who loves and is merciful, etc. Do you see any harm in that, people? Is there any harm with demonstrating love and mercy? Wait a minute. Somebody might be able to weaponize this. Rahman is the active participle noun and measure of fahlan, which conveys the idea of fullness and extensiveness, indicates the greatest preponderance of the quality of love and mercy, which comprehends the entire universe without regard to our effort in asking. Even before we are born, you got some love and some mercy waiting on you. Creative fate determined that. The creation of the sun and the moon, air and the water, etc., etc., all are there because of this attribute, Rahim, the ever merciful, etc. It is in the measure of fa'il. This measure denotes the idea of constant repetition and giving of liberal reward to those who deserve it and seek of it. The manifestation of this attribute is in response to and is a result of the action of the human being. So the Rahim means extremely and continuously loving and merciful and dispenser of grace, and love as a result of our deeds and supplications, and one in whom the attribute is constantly, excessively repeated. See, this is why Allah's love is not man's love. This is why Allah's love is not, his mercy is not man's mercy, because he repetitively rewards those. One aspect, like we say in the Rahman, it just, you're born with it. It's going to come anyway. Anything you receive out of life as a blessing, even though you didn't acknowledge it as that, that was the mercy of the great God. Any ease that had come after difficulty, that's the mercy of the great God. And then the repetitiveness of it, that's going to keep happening no matter what go on. You done hit the jackpot, not like the lottery, but from a divine standpoint, oh man, blessings upon blessings. Rahman and Rahim are both active participle nouns of different measures. These are names, attributes, or epithets applied to Allah denoting intensiveness of significance. Arabic extensiveness is more suited to express God's attributes than the superlative degree. Pardon self. The Holy Prophet has expressed the meaning of Rahman and Rahim by saying that the attribute Rahman generally pertains to this life. His mercy and love is manifested in creation, it says, of the universe. He is the bestower of gifts which precede our birth, while the attribute Rahim generally pertains to the life to come, and his love and mercy are manifested in the state that comes after. He causes good results to follow on good deeds, and would not nullify or render void anyone's right work. Muhit, the term Rahman, circumscribed. It also, that's saying that if you do the right thing, you working in the right direction, Allah ain't gonna never deny you, the activity of giving you mercy, granting you mercy and relief. He's not unjust like that. The term Rahman circumscribes the quality of abounding grace inherent in and inseparable from the concept of Almighty, whereas Rahim expresses the continuous manifestation of that grace in its effect upon us and is an aspect of one's activity. Ibn Qayyim, that's a quote from Ibn Qayyim, Rahman and Rahim are not the repetition of one in the same attribute for the sake of emphasis, but are two different attributes. Ruhamma is the plural of Rahim. Marhamatun, which is love and mercy. Rahima, he has mercy and love. Rahimta, Thou had mercy. Rahimina. We have mercy. Yarhama. Yarhamu, pardon self. He shows mercy. Tarhamu. Thou shows mercy. Irham. Have mercy. Tarharmuna. You are or will be shown mercy. Rahmatun. Mercy. Ruhmun. Affection, love, and tenderness. Mercy, regard to the rights of relationship. Arham, wombs in plural. Arham, the most merciful of all. Rahimin, those who show mercy. Rahman, most gracious. See what this does when you see all these different words having the same root, you automatically know the word when you see the root of the word in it. So you see how you will learn the language. So when you see these different roots in a word, you automatically know that this is dealing with some form of mercy, whether it is plurality, in reference to the self, or in reference to the great God Allah. Most gracious, Rahman, who gives without asking. That's that mercy that came with you now before you was born. You didn't even have to ask. You was already going to receive the blessing anyway. This word is used in the Holy Quran about 57 times. Rahim, ever merciful, who causes good results to follow of good deeds and prayer. This word is used about 115 times. In the Holy Quran, Marhama, compassion, Muhit, Ibn Qayyim, Islam. And so again, want to open up the floor, for the scribes and see what they have to say about that particular portion. Islam, scribes.
Islam. When you're thinking about one of the things when I was listening to you going on the line, if the gift of the Creator was a spirit, and say that you mismanage a spirit by not showing yourself mercy, and you're being judged off that because you didn't grant yourself mercy in certain situations, you didn't grasp yourself the attributes of Allah when you're going through things. The physical realm, one thing is the physical realm is not like the spiritual. So when we think about, like Rahman and Rahman and Rahim, when you think about what you're asking for, what you're invoking, ultimately when you're stating those words, you're invoking the power. You're proclaiming the power of mercy. And it's also bringing remembrance of you to the spirit seed. Any attribute of Allah that you call upon is in remembrance. That's why his names is, even though they say the 99 main ones, there's many of them. As we just went through, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, we went through that, and what we're going to go through. But to call upon these and invoke these is what's inherent in your spirit. That's who you truly are. You know what I'm saying? Because and the shell of what you're in, the spirit inside the shell, and what you're going through in life and your problems is not that. So you got to remember to call upon the mercy. That's why when you just heard the brother speak about even love, true peace, freedom, and justice, those are the abilities and the faculties that you have at your disposal to call upon through your situations, so that you don't be bitter, so that you don't have resentment, so that you don't fall into the low. And these are also the lifelines that you could call upon when you feel like you are in a low. They're the lifesavers, and in that we just have to keep in remembrance. It was a long time before I actually could forgive myself for the things of my past. I didn't even know that I had the ability to forgive myself. You know what I'm saying? And still until I was going through the study, and going through that study of what, going through the study of Islam and coming through that aspect, it just let me know that there's more power within you than outside of you, and you have the ability to call upon it and Don't think that you got to go somewhere. You got to go outside yourself to get it. And this is where we say in this, especially in our mind, showing yourself mercy. You got to think about that. It's not necessary. You can't give somebody something you don't have for yourself. That's why a lot of people, you look in the world today, they're spent. They're spiritually spent because they don't know how to house something, but they always want to ask for it. You got to have that within yourself in order to give it. And then once you get it, you will never let it go. You're never going to let nobody take that from you. Once you truly get peace, once you truly get love, and once you truly get the other 99 attributes of Allah, they're something that you're going to protect at all costs. And so and then when you got people that are like-minded and you come into that, then that would make that brass wall that can't be, intruded upon, cannot be breached, cannot be encroached upon. So with that, I leave as a common piece, Islam.
And Islam, yeah, that's a powerful measure. Gratitude, scribe. Well, all right. What about our other scribe? What y'all got to say about that mercy? Islam? Islamism without the schism.
I tell you, this has been such a beautiful class. It's when I look at what was brought forth in reference to the mercy of Allah, it's to me the unfoldment of our God powers being made even more clear. And we look at, Allah's attributes, which by us being a spirit and a part of the great God Allah are our talents and attributes as well. So as the more that we recognize the relationship of the Rahman and Rahim to various other words and degrees and meanings and things of that nature, that's even more of a paradigm shift in reference to the expansiveness. There are no boundaries to our Creator. So therefore, there are no boundaries to what we can do. It's us that place limitations on. And see, Dr. Bati Bey and you yourself was speaking about the remembrance. When you call upon these particular attributes, you are in essence, as long as you keep it above the neck, exercising your God powers. Islam?
Islamism without the schism. I second that. All right. Well, Sister Dendra, what have you to say?
Islam. I concur with my Moorish kin who has spoken before me. I mean, only thing I can add is we serve a merciful God. And just looking at the root words and how the Rahman and the Rahim, those different words, one meaning most gracious, Rahman, most gracious, who gives without asking. That was powerful because, like you were saying, even before we came into this world, Allah had already given us mercy. And looking at some of the other root words that you talked about on page 206 in our dictionary, it talks about how we are to have that same mercy. And of course, we got to demonstrate that same mercy because we are a seed of the great God Allah. And so we have to demonstrate. It makes me think about how we say we got to be the message that we bring. And so we see this mercy. I mean, it's everywhere. And it shouldn't be a surprise that our God is so merciful because he's a God of love also. He's a God of love. So of course, he gonna be merciful. Of course he is mercy. And that's what we are. We have mercy flowing through our being. We are merciful people. That's why we are people. We don't shed blood. That's why we are people. We are people who don't deal with guns and bombs and things of this nature, because that's not our nature. We have the nature of the great God Allah in us. Gratitude, God, man. I'm getting excited again. Gratitude for letting me share peace and love.
Peace and love to you as well, Scribes and Goddess and Queen. We camelbacking off of that one. Islam. We got to draw it because we're getting ready to bring this measure to a closure. But I'm gonna share my screen and we're gonna go into the Quran commentary real quick. Give me a second. Come on. Okay, there we go. So we're gonna share the entire screen. And all is well. And I'm gonna probably let this read and go on, and I stop it in certain spots where I could. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Okay, and this is actually coming from. If you want to pull out your commentary, this is actually coming from what page? This is 260. You know, if you want to read along with this drawing. And let me mute myself out over here. All right.
Al-Fatiha, the opening chapter. Revealed before Hijrah. Al-Fatiha is the opening chapter of the Holy Quran, consisting of 7 oft-recited verses 15:87. Every supplicating prayer service starts with its verses. It is called the Mal-Kitab, mother of the book, for it comprehends in summary form all the branches of ethical and moral teachings. It is also called the Al-Quran, mother of the Quran, as it is a fine summary of the objectives of the Holy Quran and presents the totality of its message in a concise manner. It is also known under the name of Al-Hamd, the perfect and true. Praise/glory, since it opens with the praise and glory of the Lord, the Most High, and its name Sabeh, 7, signify the 7 gates of hell, each verse of it wards off the flames of one of those gates. Its 7 verses are recited every day, in every rakat of every salat ritual. Prayer by all Muslims around the world. Al-Fatiha informs us the real object of praise and tells us whom should we worship and what should we supplicate. It also contains hidden prophecies and warnings for the Muslims of coming generations. Pages of books are needed to justly appraise the excellence of those truths that comprise Al-Fatiha. Its literary charm and conciseness, condensing volumes of meaning in relatively few words, cannot be surpassed. The splendor of its language, its fluency, its clarity, and its spiritual effectiveness miraculously transform human hearts. When rightly understood, thoughtfully spoken, it feeds every guest who desires to be entertained at the divine court. It provides drink for every visitor who wishes to quench his thirst from the fountain of divine knowledge. It dispels every fear that would. 260. 1. Chapter. Lead to the brink of disaster and uproots every worry that would bring on anxiety and depression. It leads every leader who has lost the way back to the right path, humbles every implacable enemy, and cheers up the seeker. There is no physician comparable to it for washing out the poisons of sin and healing the crookedness of hearts. Its words, when carefully contemplated, lead to certitude of the absolute divine unity. The recitation of Al-Fatiha verses in ritual prayer, Salat, is a reflection on its verses show that no prayer can be made without these words. The attributes of our Creator mentioned here are the basics of all his attributes, and they are not to be found in any other deity. They refute those who do not believe in prayer or in the hereafter. Therein is a realization that our Creator is all-powerful, he embodies all excellences, and that his mercy and his benevolence are indispensable for our survival, and that he is the source and fountainhead of all graces. It tells us that we have to estimate ourselves as humble and utterly dependent on his help and his guidance. These are the incentives to the performance of fervent prayer, and they are captured in beautifully succinct words within the 7 verses of this chapter. It begins with the words 1:1 with the name of Allah, most gracious, then ever merciful. This verse is a revealed part of the chapter and not a later addition. Abu Dawud, Ibn Kathir, Imam Hon. No other verse is repeated so often in the Holy Quran. It is repeated at the beginning of all chapters, surah, with the exception of chapter 9, Al-Tawbah. Besides this, a letter written by Solomon to Queen Sheba also begins with these words, 27:30. The Holy Prophet attached great importance to this verse. According to him, any work that begins with these words carries divine blessings. His famous letters to the kings and the emperors of his time began with this. 261. 1. Chapter. Words. It has become traditional among Muslims to recite this verse before the start of any work and enterprise, big or small, with the purpose of seeking divine blessings and help. The very first word starts with the Arabic alphabet BA. In Arabic, if a word starts with BA, it means that there exists an expression before this that has not been mentioned, but is a part of the word. But before a word signifies that this should be made a source or a cause of something that is to be achieved. Here the omitted word before Ba'izm Allah, with the name of Allah, is, meaning read. Cf 96:1c also Kashaf of Zamakhshari. Ba'izm Allah. It is a reply to the very first revealed word of the Holy Book that was at the same time the first divine command, read with the name of your Lord. The word ism, name, embedded in Ba'izm Allah is a derivative of wasma and wasman and means the mark left by branding. Itasima rajulu is used when a person chooses a mark of identification by means of which people distinguish him from others. In popular parlance, the ism of a thing stands for its distinguishing mark, but in the view of the land, it signifies its reality. This blessed verse names the Supreme Lord, Allah, are the culmination of beauty and beneficence, cf page 8, who does not suffer from any shortcoming, and who combines in himself all perfect attributes. Allah is the being, imperceptible, above the reach of reason, beyond of beyond, finer than the finest, towards whom all objects of creation turn in worship. Whatever is in the heavens and the earth declares the glory of Allah. He is the Almighty, the All-Wise. A 57:1. He has named himself Allah, which is comprehensive of all his other names and attributes. He has not accorded that status to any other name when he says, do you not know that there is no one who is called with the same name? 19:65. The meaning of the word Allah is known only to him. 262. 1. Chapter. Al-Rahman and Al-Rahim, translated as most gracious and ever merciful, are derived from the same root Rahama, signifying love, tenderness, grace, mercy, pity, forgiveness, and goodness. Lane. All these qualities are required for exercising beneficence. Both Al-Rahman and Al-Rahim are active participial. An Arabic intensive is more suited to express Allah's attributes than the superlative degree, ba al-mu'at. It is wrong to think that Rahman and Rahim are the repetition of one and the same attribute, and they are placed in the first verse of the Holy Quran one after another for the sake of emphasis. The fact is that these are two different attributes of Allah. Rahman is in the measure of a Fa'lan, which conveys the idea of fullness and extensiveness and indicates the greatest preponderance of the quality of mercy, which comprehends the entire universe without regard to the effort and asking. It circumscribes the quality of abounding grace inherent in and inseparable from him. Rahim is in the measure of Fa'al. This measure denotes the idea of constant repetition and giving of liberal reward again and again to those who ask for it and deserve it, Ba al-Mu'it. The difference between Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim is that the Rahman grants of his own accord out of pure grace and beneficence without reference to any deed or request, while Rahim is the one who causes good results to follow on good deeds. He will not nullify anyone's work and labor. Cf 2:218. Allah is Rahman in the sense that he grants a pure nature to human beings without the taint of sin, in the finest make and the best proportions, with enormous capabilities for all-round advancement and for attaining proximity to the Creator. 95:4. Allah is Rahim in the sense that when one makes use of his faculties, Allah blesses his efforts with good results. Ibn came in Zad al-Ma'ad. To punish every sin is incompatible with these attributes. 263. 1th chapter. In the words, with the name of Allah, most gracious, ever merciful. Our Creator has signified his two attributes that subsist in his eternal light. 1:2 Alhamdulillah al
In Islam, we're actually stopping there. Praise be to Allah. We're actually stopping there, and we'll pull out the other measures when our family come forth with their drawings in the homework assignment from our scribes. And so this is a grand drawing, and we just want to say gratitude with a divine attitude. And at this time, we're going to call on our National Grand Secretary of the State once more, Sister Shepsut Rakat Ma'at and Pooh, to come and Bay. Islam, Goddess and Queen.
Islam.
Islam.
Gratitude, having already risen, giving praise and honor where due.
Already risen.
I'm definitely getting a sluggish thing, but the portion on page 260 in dealing with Al-Fatiha that says it dispels every fear that would lead to the brink of disaster and uproots every worry that would bring on anxiety and depression. It leads every leader who has lost the way back to the right path, humbles every implacable enemy, and cheers up the seeker. So it's no physical comparable to it for washing out the poisons of sin and healing the crookedness of hearts. Its words, when carefully contemplated, lead to certitude of the absolute divine unity. That is so powerful. When you look at the divine instructions that our prophet brings to us in reference to the foes, and how like worry being an aspect of misery, anxiety, and one doesn't realize the depth of the meaning until you start to go down, delve down deep into the particular words. And this is just powerful. One dealing with no matter what, as the God has stated, no matter what, you're going to be blessed by the Creator because he's a merciful God. And then the other aspect, depending upon your works and deeds, you're going to receive further blessings. So what is there to fear, worry, become anxious about when these blessings are within you, given to us by the Creator? But see, if you don't know this, and that takes it back to that branding aspect and how we were branded as Negro, black, color, etc. If you don't know that these are misnomers, then that's the entirety of your existence. So this is definitely a paradigm shift when it comes down to the boundlessness of our Creator and how we are interacted with it. So gratitude more for calling me forth. Much peace and love to all of my Moorish kin. This is a powerful class. Gratitude.
Gratitude, Grand Secretary of the State. You know, our prophet did a grand work when he was Muhammad. You know, so we say gratitude, Islamism without the schism, because he himself, you know, being the light, so to speak, and the most lofty and exalted mind in this new era in time, you know, is the one that got the message and extended the learning and truth right here in America, contrary to popular opinion. All right. Well, all right. Our two other scribes, y'all have any closing remarks?
Islam is it's just been a powerful class. I'm enjoying learning about the prayer, the universal prayer, the Al-Fatiha, and just getting into it. That's so exciting for me. So looking forward to continuing my studying and dealing with this, dealing with the prayer and getting into all the teachings so far. That we Surah 112, I believe it was, and the 119. I mean, this is just, who knew that I would be studying Arabic in the Holy Quran? Because we used to say, when we made up our mind that we weren't going to criticize Islam anymore, because we said the Quran, we couldn't read it anyway. But who knew that I would be reading from the great Quran, the Holy Quran, our Prophet Muhammad had written down. Islam, this is just exciting for me. Like I said, I don't have words, English words, to express the joy that I feel at this time, and the gratitude that I feel to my great God Allah and our Holy Prophet for having me here at this day and time. Islam.
Islamism, goddess and queen. We give honors to that droid. All right. Goodness gracious. All right, Brother Bati Bey, what about you? You have any more messages you would like to give on the way out?
Islam. You know, and I think that in starting anybody's journey and coming in, we got to look at the belief system. All belief systems are stepping stones into activating your God state. And though I may be firm when it comes to dealing with aspects of Christianity, that was a stepping stone to get me into what they call Orthodox Islam. It gave me the belief. When I went into what they call Orthodox Islam, they gave me the faith. When I and this is you got to think everything is as above, so below. So when you're ready, you're gonna rise. You know what I'm saying? And so when I was ready for full accountability, it brought me into Islamism. And you know, each one you're gonna receive different aspects. You're going to receive different aspects of belief because there are different stations in your journey into unfolding that seed that is planted in the soil or soul to unfold into whatever, you know what I'm saying, that God in you is here to, you know, establish. And so sometimes you got to go back and revisit. You got to go back and revisit that belief, faith, and fruition. And it's not necessarily because you're in deficit. It's just more so to affirm. You know what I'm saying? That you done came from somewhere. You done had a journey. That's a journey within itself. And I understand why most people aren't ready to come into Islamism, because it's self-accountability. There is nobody outside yourself. You are that divine seed that is the creator is in you. So now you gotta be full-fledged and responsible for all things that take place. And that's a heavy road, because most people, and the way society is now, it's scapegoats. If I can point the finger, if I can take the focus off of who I am or what I did or when I did it or how or why I did it. You know what I'm saying? And this is why, being self-responsible, what do you think the creator is? What do you think whatever you call him? I'm saying creator just so people don't try to blur lines. What do you think the creator is? Self-responsible, self-generating, independent origination, as our Buddhist family said. It's independent origination. You have to be in control of all that is you, or really all that is in the universe. And when you utilize your responsibility to everything and then everyone, you know what I'm saying? That brings out a whole nother level that most people aren't ready to, hone in on. And so when you think about your prayer, remember what your prayer is saying. Investigate those words, because those words are, as we call our Moorish American prayer, a map. And if ours is a map, that means the Fatiha is a map. That means the Lord Prayer is a map. That means the different prayers that are in Buddhism is a map. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Hinduism. They're maps. And so we just got to keep that in mind and keep that at the forefront, and realize that's your beacon light. You're going to have good times, you're going to have bad times, but remember, it's a time. It's just an event on the stage, as our chairman put, you know what I'm saying? It's just an event. And the event's there for a reason. Learn what you got to learn, and then let it roll off your back like a duck. Islamism without the schism. Peace and love.
Islam. And Islamism without the schism, brother. Yes, sir. Islamism without them schisms. We just say gratitude, grand man, and honest to everybody, in this new era and time, promoting love, because that's the true saving power. That being said, we're going to call on our beloved goddess and queen and scribe, and Sister Dendra Nia Curta Bay, that she may take us into the heights of divinity. Put a seal on this demonstration, not indefinite, because we coming back. Islam.
Yes, sir. We coming back. Islam. January 15, 1929, a warning from the prophet to be read at every meeting. I hereby inform all citizens that they must end all radical, agitating speeches while at work in their homes on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be a severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any citizen or group of citizens who hold malicious feelings toward the government or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the government is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the government. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways by the order of Prophet Noble Jew Ali. A holy covenant of the Asiatic nations. Ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother have given you suck. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortune of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. Islam, Islam, Islam. This meeting has been officially adjourned according to Act 2, the Circle 7, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Go in peace, Moors. Peace and love. Great class. Islam.
Great class, Dr. Shahid, Scribes,
Great
family.
class.
Peace
Islam.
and love.
Yes, love you, Moors.
Gratitude.
Islamism without the schism.
Yes.
Islam.
Praise be to Allah. Islam, man. Y'all come on up here and get some of these teachings. They good for you.
Islam. That's right. That's
We talking
right.
to everybody too.
Yes,
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, we can't uplift fallen humanity.
That's right.
Islam.
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 Prophet taught them all.
Yeah, he did.
1
Islam.
minute time all down there.
That's
Yep.
right.
Islam.
Yep. I want to give honors to our family for checking in as well. Brother Born Dog, Tyrese Bay, Cena Renee, Swin the Hook Week. We give honors to you, brother. Tyrese Bay, Cena Renee again. Yeah, honors to everybody in here. You know, we're going to keep this demonstration as Moorish as ever.
That's right.
Praise be to Allah, but don't ask me no question that you ain't ready for the answer.
That's right.
Now, we going to give it to you. We love to teach.
That's right. We gonna give you the truth.
We love to teach this love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
Right.
Goodness gracious. Ain't nothing out here can top that.
That's right.
Islam. Go ask them pagan Arabs over there. Excuse me. I ain't talking about all of them, but the ones that's bucket.
That's
Islam. We love you, Moorish kin.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. See y'all in Sunday school.
Islam.
Islam.
Islamism.